Good morning and welcome to our Hong Kong in-market update. I'm Ashley Ridley from State Promotions, Department for Trade and Investment, and I'm your host for this morning's webinar. For those of you who have previously joined our sessions, you'll already be relatively familiar with this format, although this morning is slightly different. Firstly, we will hear from South Australia's expert overseas representative in Hong Kong, Alice Jim, for her general update. And following this, we'll be joined by Timmy Lau, Austrade's Food and Beverage Business Development Manager. And then lastly, we'll hear from Ringo Wong, Director of Wilson Foods Group in Hong Kong. And then both Alice and Timmy will ask Ringo a series of questions. So it's a very full and exciting program for you this morning. At any time during the webinar, you can ask questions through the Q&A section on the right-hand side of your screen. So you can submit these questions at any times or even comments for further information, etc. We'll compile those and make sure your questions are either directed during this webinar or we can follow up post-session with you individually. Happy to do that. If we do run out of time, any unanswered questions will be included onto our website with the answers. And lastly, we will have a 10-second pop-up at the end of the webinar. So please do take the time to complete this for us to continually improve our communications to you. So now it's my pleasure to introduce you to Alice Jim, South Australia's Senior Business Development Manager in our Hong Kong office. So good morning, Alice, and welcome.
Hi, good morning, Ashley, and good morning, everyone in South Australia and Hong Kong. It's my greatest pleasure to be here to deliver the second version of the Hong Kong webinar from the first one we delivered 2 weeks ago. My name is Alice. I am the South Australian Government representative based in Australia, Hong Kong, promoting and facilitating trade and investment and international education promotion for South Australia in Hong Kong, Macau, and Southern China. Thank you. I'll start now. Australia has extensive and enduring interest in Hong Kong, built on strong trade and investment connections and people-to-people links. Hong Kong remains a substantial trade and investment partner for Australia. Mainland enterprises and funds continue to establish in Hong Kong, with about 65% of mainland outbound investment flowing through the SAR. The presence of mainland investment offices, as well as multinationals, will ensure SAR remain a priority market for Australia FDI attraction activity. Hong Kong will still continue to have strong demand for traditional Australian exports to Hong Kong across F&B and consumer products, with new opportunities emerging out of Hong Kong's role in initiatives such as the Greater Bay and the Belt and Road. Hong Kong will continue to be a priority market for investment attraction, also across the key sectors like tourism and major infrastructure, agri-food, renewable energy, healthcare, aged care, and disruptive technologies. Hong Kong also plays a crucial role in Beijing's Greater Bay Area plan, which connects 11 cities and the Pearl River Delta. Next, please. Let's look at the business relationship between South Australia and Hong Kong. Hong Kong investment in South Australia includes utilities, for example, SA Power Network, Energy Australia, aviation and training, which is Flight Training Adelaide School, high-tech technology, and international education with Maple Leaf Bilingual School set up at the UniSA campus, and wastewater management, for example, Trinity Group in SA. South Australian businesses present in Hong Kong also operate across a diversified sectors, including wines, Accolade Wines in Hong Kong, education, like Gordon Bleu in Hong Kong, professional services, Hassel Studios, Woods Bagot, and Liebman Carris are also in Hong Kong. The top South Australian exports to Hong Kong include wine and seafood. Hong Kong is also South Australia's third source of international students. Next, please. Hong Kong is actually combating the coronavirus very well. We are in the second wave of transmission, but we have seen the downward trend of single digits of new cases in the past 7 consecutive days. We still have the red alert for outbound global travel. In terms for flights between Australia and Hong Kong thanks to our federal government on running 2 programs to facilitate additional networks of flights between Australia and Hong Kong. And they are International Flight Assistance Mechanism and International Aviation Network. Timmy, my colleague from Australia, will elaborate more details on these 2 networks later on. The inbound travel restrictions remain, denying entry to Hong Kong by non-Hong Kong residents, and also all inbound travelers require viral tests and also 14 days compulsory quarantine. Next, please. In terms of cross-border mainland to Hong Kong, the restrictions from 2 weeks ago remain the same. There's only 2 checkpoints open right now, the Shenzhen Bay and Hong Kong-Zhuhai Macau Bridge. Currently, there's no transport to Macau, and there's no high-speed rail train services to the mainland. Between Hong Kong, we're still flying to Beijing, Shanghai, and very limited flights to Chengdu and Xiamen. So far, we still have no complete lockdown in Hong Kong so far. The government believes enforcing the restrictions, the social distancing restrictions, closures of bars and pubs, and also restricting restaurant diners limit to 4 and 1.5 distance apart between tables would be sufficient to combat the coronavirus outbreak without the complete lockdown. All schools remain closed, and it's unlikely to resume before the summer holidays, which commences in July, with large-scale promotional events remain closed, and most of the enterprises have adopted work-from-home practice and also on a shift roster level. Next, please. The Hong Kong economy has been hammered by Sino-US-China war and last year's social unrest, and now the COVID-19 pandemic. The aviation sector is a key contributor to our GDP with 10.2%. However, the air traffic has dropped 90%, with 45% workforce in the aviation sector at risk. The government has rolled out a series of travel curbs to contain the spread of the disease, forcing the city's tourism industry to nearly a standstill. Visitors' arrival in the first quarter was down 80%. Just alone in March, the arrivals have plummeted 99%. In terms of retail sales, we have a record decline of 44% in the February this year. However, on the commodity sales in supermarkets rose 11%. On the unemployment side, has widened to 4.2% in the first quarter, with consumer and tourism unemployment rate heightened to 6.8%, and worse in the F&B sector with 8.6%. However, the financial system is working well in order, and Hong Kong institutional strength and core competitiveness remains. Next, please. The pandemic is now affecting almost all sectors in the economy. For many companies in Hong Kong, they are now facing the difficulties in cash flow. The Hong Kong government have announced various measures to support enterprises, individuals, and safeguard jobs, with a total of equivalent to $36.9 billion, which is about 10% of the city's GDP. Next, please. Let's look at the F&B sector in Hong Kong. As all of you would know, Hong Kong is a premium high-value goods market, which actually best matches our premium food and wine capabilities in South Australia. In 2018 and 2019, the top South Australian food and wine export to Hong Kong by value include, top one is wine, the second one is seafood, with abalone dominating, the third one is fruit, with citrus dominating, and processed food, pretty much average across lamb, chicken, and mutton, and beef. In Hong Kong, we have very limited local agriculture and food production, so food supply is heavily reliant on imports. We have recently heard from local importers. They have warned us, or warned everyone, as they face unpredictable air freight services with increased uncertainty over cargo flights in April and May, following the severe cuts in passenger services to destinations such as Japan, Europe, and North Africa, from where perishable and fresh produce are flown in. The airspace now is much harder to secure and more expensive. So consumers like us in Hong Kong will continue to face more pricey imported fresh produce across dairy, fruits, vegetables, seafood, and meat. Next, please. Let's look at the different distribution channels. On the food services side, with government's enforcement of the ongoing social distancing and restaurant in-dining restriction measures, people are now staying away from restaurants and public places. Coupling with 99% drop in visitors' arrival, we have seen 1,000 restaurants closed up since June last year, and we're expecting 1,000 more to come. The unemployment rate has hit 8.6%. Many food premises have introduced discounts and promotionals for in-dining and takeaways to boost sales. Even Michelin-star restaurants and fine dining hotel restaurants are offering and designing takeaway menus for the first time with home deliveries. However, importers have lost up to 90% in terms of the sales to the food services sector. Next, please. Let's look at the retail and online e-commerce platforms. As I said before, the retail sales in supermarket rose 11% in the first 2 months of this year. The prices of most of the products have surged. People have switched to home dining mode, looking for retail packed products, including bare essentials products at mass prices, healthy and functional foods, frozen and more durable foods with longer shelf life, immune boosting items, supplements, and also well-being products. The pandemic has boosted food home delivery markets as well. Delivery, one of the 3 popular home delivery service providers in the first quarter this year, only have signed up 1,500 eateries already, even with luxury hotels and top-notch cake shops that were reluctant to join than before concerning of the branding. And also their orders have doubled. It's interesting to see Deliveroo has also invested their 3rd ghost kitchen in Hong Kong to service the rising demand from the customers. Next, please. So this slide just gives you a quick overview of the key upcoming trade shows in food. Just like to highlight the Restaurant Bar Show and Gourmet Asia, which targets hospitality sectors as the audience and visitors. Asian Food Expo, a specialized seafood expo, and also all of you probably would be very familiar, HOFAX in May next year. Next, please. So what's happening in the wines market? In terms of total value, Hong Kong is South Australia's 4th largest export destination in terms of total value of export. In the year ending in March this year, Hong Kong remained #1, the top average price market for wines, for South Australian wines, at 29.21 Australian dollars per litre FOB. So in terms of a total value export to Hong Kong, the red wine accounts for over 90%, which is quite interesting, and the white wine only accounts for 7% in terms of total value. Next, please. So as I've shared with you, all the bars and pubs and the clubs remain temporarily closed, but they are offering very innovative discounts and ready for the reopening of their business very soon. So they're offering coupons and also home cocktail serving kits to deliver to the customers. We have seen 90% drop in food services and corporate clients channels for wines. So the wine merchants have been moving inventory to private customers through discounts, more delivery platforms, and also half bottles packaging. We have not seen any change in wine prices in the retail sector. So most of us locals are drinking at home now, and they are buying more entry to mid-level wines, more daily drinking wines, around Hong Kong dollars 200 to $600 per bottle, equivalent to around Australian dollars 30 to maybe $100 per bottle. Unfortunately, the fine wine market is shrinking as there's no entertainment or social events happening. The private wine drinkers are now buying from retail, from their direct wine merchants, online and home delivery. It's very interesting. We have seen a lot of wine merchants are offering virtual wine tasting, wine dinner, and wine masterclasses to their customers. For example, a customer can purchase a special wine pack and they receive a tasting booklet as well as, for example, a six bottles wine pack, and they will be invited to join an expert-led live interactive tasting section or from the respective winemakers. And they'll be offered to buy a caravan at a special discount price in order to solve out the problem of opening all of the 6 bottles at the same time during the wine tasting. The upcoming wine events include Vin Expo in July, if it's still on schedule, Restaurant and Bar Show, Hong Kong Wine and International Spirit Fair in November, and the Pro Wine Fair concurrently with Whole Fest in next May. Next, please. In terms of the education, as I said, all schools in Hong Kong have been closed since early February until further notice. All students have switched to online learning at home mode. A lot of international students international school parents have demanded discount in tuition fees. And the Hong Kong University admission exam, the Hong Kong Diploma of Secondary Education, will commence tomorrow, the 24th of April, expecting results announcement in July. If this is on schedule, we won't see much impact on student recruitment for Australia's institutions. However, we have seen still as the international exams such as IB and IGCSE have cancelled, there's concerns from parents on what are the new admissions requirements for these international exams. So we have been also hearing concerns from education agents. For example, when will the border restriction be lifted in Australia? Parents are also concerned about the safety and discrimination in Australia. Our Department of Home Affairs have been advising overseas students to reconsider applying for student visa. And we have seen a lot of foreign institutions, and including from Australia, partnering with the education agents to Hong Kong to provide virtual tours, online seminars for students and parents. However, we have been hearing from agents that they are not as effective as physical events. So for Australian institutions, they would need to start or upgrading the online delivery system and consider what is the best digital engagement with the agents or with the parents and students for student recruitment. Next, please. In terms of the high-tech sector in Hong Kong, a Hong Kong startup company has developed smart wristband for home quarantine surveillance. And we've also seen researchers in Hong Kong using big data analytics to study the transmission patterns of the virus and movement of residents using the transport e-payment system. We've also seen robots and new technologies become the mainstay in malls and offices to reduce human contact and cost. We've seen surging demands for digital health and telemedicine and e-consultations being applied in hospitals and clinics, where repeat patients with stable and chronic conditions. However, there's ongoing debate for whether it's increasing the chance of misdiagnosis or medical blunders. In terms of fintech, we have seen a surge in using digital wallets in Hong Kong. However, people in Hong Kong are still lacking securities or confidence in the securities on the mobile payment system. And credit cards and octopus cards are still the preferred payment options in Hong Kong. As we have seen, the pandemic has accelerated the shift of digital transformation on the personal and the enterprise front in Hong Kong. The rise of remote working software, e-learning, are actually exposing internet users to the whole new risk of cyber crimes. So there's opportunity for our South Australian companies in the cybersecurity solutions offering to Hong Kong in the coming period. So all of the above scenarios also create long-term business opportunities from now and also post-pandemic. Next, please. So quickly, what you need to do in the next few slides, I have not changed or updated much since my sharing 2 weeks ago because they remain very critical. Please establish your preparedness strategies like business continuity, crisis management, and digital transformation for your business. It's actually a time for survival and being competitive. Protect your brand and maintain your market share. It's not a time really for profit making. Leverage financial relief programs offered by the federal and state governments, and also explore cross-industry partnerships with complementary product offerings. Next, please. Please continue to communicate closely with your e-market distributors or partners or stakeholders, and also together establish win-win promotion and campaigns, product offerings, and in the new distribution strategies. And also be very highly responsive, although I know most of you all are having remote working from home, and also with reduced manpower. Please organize interim digital and social media promotional campaigns. And also please come to us at the South Australian Government, Department of Trade, and our overseas offices. We are able to assist you and support you in providing market intelligence, business opportunities, any support, export support grants, and also advising you on any of our upcoming digital promotions and business missions. Next, please. So lastly, this slide just shows you, please be prepared for recovery. As I mentioned before, digital transformations, and also keep on top of what's happening around the world, and also in Australia and in your target markets, of how the pandemic is evolving. So the next slide describes all our overseas offices in the Greater China, in Shanghai, in Jinan, in Shandong, in Guangzhou, and in Hong Kong myself, and our colleagues based in the Adelaide Department of Trade and Investment. Please reach out to us. So that's the end of my sharing today. And for now, I would like to invite Timmy Lau from Australia's F&B team in Hong Kong to give us more overview on the F&B sectors in Hong Kong. Thank you, Timmy.
Thank you, Alice, and thanks for having me this morning. So I'm Timmy Lau, working in Australia, Hong Kong, look after F&B industry for both Hong Kong market and Macau. So let's take a look at the Hong Kong market and our F&B industry. First of all, some figures. So coronavirus pandemic hits a lot of markets, and Hong Kong is no exception, as it is a very open economy. In the fourth quarter of 2019, the GDP of Hong Kong decreased by 2.9% in real terms from a year earlier. Hong Kong government released the latest figure on Monday. The unemployment rate of 4.2% is half a percentage point up from the 3.7% reported in the 3 months to February, and this is the highest level in more than 9 years. Business visitors and tourists has been a very important driver of Hong Kong's economy. Hong Kong's tourist arrival plunged by 96.4% year-on-year in February to less than 200,000. And the provisional figures shows that there would be 99% drop in March. On hotel room occupancy rate, it was 29% in February, compared to 91% same time last year. And in the next slide, we are going to take a look at some of the temporary measures that implemented by the Hong Kong government to address the current situation of public health emergency. And some of them are more related to food service industry. For example, karaoke, bar and pub must be closed during that period of time. On Tuesday, Hong Kong government announced that most of the social distancing rules will be extended beyond 23rd of April for 40 more days. Those measures are not exactly business friendly. However, it is necessary under these circumstances. And next, we will take a look at some of the impacts. The impact to the industry is definitely tangible. For example, the famous Jumbo's floating restaurant, Gordon Ramsay's restaurant, and Jamie Oliver's Jamie's Italian, they are all shut in Hong Kong. And there are many others who need to close their business or switch the lights off temporarily. And now, let's move to some of the more uplifting news, which is happening in other areas of F&B industry. So fears over the coronavirus led to shoppers emptying supermarket shelves of basic necessity. The value of sales of commodities in supermarket increased by 12.2% in February, and it was up by 10.2% in January as well. There are a couple of trends that we observed in the last few months. In short, it is the stay-at-home economy. The situation forces us, both the individuals and the industry, to be nimble and try things that we had not done in the past. In terms of F&B industry, consumers are embracing e-commerce. HKTV Mall, an online shopping platform in Hong Kong, the firm is estimated to have received more than 1.2 billion Hong Kong dollar worth of orders in the first quarter of this year, almost double from the same period in 2019. And food delivery platform report a surge in orders and eateries signing up. Take delivery, for example, their sales and orders had doubled in the first 3 months of this year. The situation is leading to a spike in demand for food as well. Some of the items in supermarket are more popular in the last few months, mainly under the category of staple food, including meat, poultry, seafood in retail pack. And the supply of food items has been a little bit unstable lately, caused by issues on logistics, hiccup on manufacturing and supply chains. And in the last session, we'll take a look at some of the support that Australian government is providing. On 1st of April, the Australian government announced a 110 million Aussie dollar international freight assistance mechanism to assist our country to access key global markets. Key export-focused sectors are seafood, dairy, meat, and horticultural goods. In addition to that, Qantas and Virgin Australia are offering air freight capacity on repatriation international passenger services to a couple of destinations, including Hong Kong. For the latest information, please visit Australia's website. And in the next slide, we are going to talk about the domestic flight. On domestic flight, it has been underwritten by the Australian government as well, along with some of the internal South Australian flights to 3 different airports. There are the following flights for the next 8 weeks. And we really hope that this will give Australian producers a way to obtain valuable input for their businesses, especially for those who need to export their goods internationally. Please also visit business.gov.au for additional government supports. And this brings me to the end of my presentation, and I'm very happy to answer any questions that you may have in the later in the later session of the webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Timmy. Very interesting. I'm sure we will leave the questions to the end. And I think Thank you, Timmy. And now I think it's the most exciting part of the presentation and actually the core part. We are very honored to have Mr. Ringo Wong for Wilson Foods Group to actually share with us the first-hand insights on his business. He has actually prepared a fantastic PowerPoint, which will best illustrate what his company does. So we would like to invite Ringo to share with us your insights today. Thanks, Ringo.
Hello. I'm Ringo Wong from Wilson Foods Group. I'll try to keep my PowerPoint relatively short so that we have more time for questioning. So my company is a 43-year-old company. It is still family owned. It was founded by my father, Benyon. We specialize in trading. However, we call ourselves a brand building company, and we are also a marketing company. And we have a diverse food solution providing to the industry, and we source from over 40 countries worldwide. And our group mission is to provide any import and distribution solution to our customers in the most cost-effective way. We try to look for the most innovative products for the market, and we do work in the whole Asia. And we trust in long-term partnerships, regardless of our suppliers or our customers. Yeah, next, please. These are some of the core values. It is quite detailed, but basically you can see that we believe that our suppliers, Wilson Foods Group, and our customers like restaurants or supermarkets, we are all living on the same island. And we each of us, we have our core values, but we understand those and we try to work together as a team and service the home consumers. And next, you will see our timeline throughout the years, and I'm not going into detail, but basically we have started in 1977, and then we have our food processing facility in 1990. In year 2000, we first entered China, so we have been in the market for over 20 years in mainland China. And then in 2009, we try to diversify, and we also deal with wines. And in 2013, we started to extend our scope, and then we work with Europe and Asia. And why do our customer choose Wilson? Because we believe that we can add a lot of values in between. I'm sure a lot of you has the capability to export or supply directly to the end customers, but we do understand the market, and there are lots of values that we can put in between to make your business more successful. And some of the agency brands that I'm sure you will recognize. And if any of you would like to follow up, and please contact us afterwards. And we also show you here briefly about some of our customers, which includes food service, fast food chains, catering groups, airlines. And the next slide, you will see some bakery, clubhouses, supermarkets. And in terms of our logistics, we do operate our own fleet of delivery trucks, but it only accounts maybe 40% of our delivery because of the amount of orders. So we also outsource our delivery to Carry Logistics, who are our main partners. And today we would like to spend a bit more time and explain to you about our marketing strategy. Here you will see that we have one of the events is the launch of Korean beef, where we held a press conference and a gala dinner, and we have invited top customers from the industry. And next is an event that we have done around Whole Facts exhibition last year, where we have invited a celebrity chef from Korea to cook a regional abalone from the south of Korea. And because of the brand building work, we also participate in Whole Facts, restaurant and bar, and then FXC in China. And we also work closely with like US governments, and we are always the sponsors for the events. And then also the Great American Barbecue, which is the biggest event of the year with over 1,000 guests. And in terms of media coverage, we work closely with TVB, the main television broadcaster. We support their concerts. We support supermarkets like City Super on a demo, Eon, which is on the next slide, on the traditional supermarket demonstration. But now, because we work a lot with the regional products, and we also try to put ourselves forward in front of the customer. So you will see on the next slide that we support a lot of programs on TV, including cooking programs, just casual chit chat program. And recently, we have also established an agreement with Iceland from the UK, where we manage the online outlet, and it is in fact on HKTV Mall, which Alice and Timmy also mentioned. And we also work closely with Backpack Shop, which is another ongoing online e-commerce shopping channel, and also support on the social media, including Facebook and Instagram. And this is my part of the presentation, but let's share some questions from Alice and Timmy.
In this difficult climate, everyone is turning to the digital. So you have all the right channels and promotional campaigns across e-commerce and social media and with the entertainment world. So it's fantastic to hear. And one of the greatest thing, actually it's the greatest thing, is Ringo. You have been actively looking to build up your Australian portfolios of premium produce. So we look forward to introducing more of the food F&B produce to your company, and also some premium wines or daily drinking wines to your subsidiary, Sense Wine Cellar. So if I may start by just maybe asking a question to Ringo, how has the current coronavirus impacted your business overall, in particular across your different sales channels, including food services, retail, e-commerce? And what are your challenges and also the growth opportunities? Thank you.
Yes, in fact, referring to Alice earlier, the impact on the Hong Kong market started from the social unrest, started from the protests since June 2020. So it has been almost a year that Hong Kong has been suffering. And before the pandemic, we focused a lot on just the regular wet market sales, food service sales, which accounts about 80%, and then on retail around 20%. However, after the coronavirus situation, the wet market, which is the daily shopping market for groceries, business has grown slightly by 10%. And of course, for food service, they have been hit hard. And in terms of retail, they kind of maintain the same and grow slightly. But in terms of e-commerce, we have seen it grown by maybe around 6 times. So it is very interesting on the current situation. And in terms of the challenges, as you can see, the buying pattern from and the habits from consumers shift a lot to retail. Everybody in the industry, we are struggling to cope with producing products in retail packs. And because of the tremendous growth of e-commerce, which requires home delivery, there are also a lot of tension on the delivery and logistics services, and the cost is becoming higher. And in terms of the macro perspective, the logistic on the importation is very difficult. As you are aware, the shipping lines, airline services is on like reduced services. And on the supply side, like suppliers like yourself, you are like on reduced work hours, and then maybe some of the factories are affected by the virus. For the opportunities, we are very confident that because of the new buying habits, as long as we get on the ladder of home delivery and e-commerce, we can surely take the chance. And some of our products for the food service, we also try to adapt to the takeaway where we make it more convenient, smaller packs, and the industry is moving in a positive way in this sense. The next question, please.
Thank you, Ringo, for your feedback. So you talk about even though Hong Kong is running slightly slower than we used to be, but there are still quite a lot of opportunities in the market. So when you're searching for new products in terms of product type and their like brand features or product features, are there any differences between pre-pandemic and the current at the present moment?
Yes. Previously, a lot of importers like us, we focus a lot on the food service sector. And for food service, they are constantly looking for medium to high-end products. However, because of the situation now where everybody stay at home, in terms of pack formats, obviously it has become a lot smaller to adapt to the household fridge or freezer. And also, a lot of the home consumers, they have affected in terms of their job, or they need to reduce their expense. So customers and the market, they are looking for medium low-end products for every day. And that's why we are also following the trend and try to import and produce smaller packs.
We'd just like to quickly ask, we're conscious of the time and we will have to take questions from the floor as well. I'm sure there'll be a lot. What are the key factors for foreign brands to be successful in Hong Kong moving forward?
Yes, it is very important to understand our local culture and also understand what brands or products which are already in the market. And Hong Kong has relatively complicated labeling and nutritional regulations that you have to understand. And our market is a little bit like Singapore, where we move quite fast. So you have to up pace and act very quick and communicate closely with your partners in order to grab the opportunities. Otherwise, there are always someone else, they might be in the market ahead of you. And for the products, I'm sure there are lots of great quality products from South Australia, but it is also important to understand our local cuisines and the market where you can adapt your product into a particular sector. And lastly, of course, choose the right partner. Thank you.
Great. Okay, I think the last question that we would like to ask Ringo from our side is, what are you mentioned you are actively looking to build up your Australian portfolios. Currently, you are buying scallops from Australia. And because in South Australia, we're very, very strong in seafood sectors. So, and also fresh food, fruits and vegetables. Is there any particular product category you're looking for, and in terms of what forms would that be coming in? Is it like just frozen format and retail packs? Can you share a little bit more on this, please? Thank you.
In fact, we are bringing in some dairy products, some lambs and scallops and abalone out of Australia. Our challenge right now is that we are looking for partners who are able to put together a big portfolio for us, as we do have opportunity to market and grow a lot of Australian produce. So far, we haven't really started, mainly because a lot of producers in Australia and South Australia focus on what they do best, like a single variety of products or single range of products. But because we do service a big scope of customer, we are very, very happy and actively looking to expand our range from Australia, and possibly look into consolidation and consolidating some of the products together and make a start with maybe 200 products.
Well, thank you, Ringo. I'll just wrap up our sharing session, and thank you so much for your insights. And over back to you, Ashley. Thank you.
Thanks, Alice, Timmy and Ringo. Those presentations were really interesting. I'm sure our South Australian businesses are gaining some valuable advice and knowledge of potential opportunities in the Hong Kong market. I'm really conscious of time, so let's begin the Q&A session. A reminder to viewers, it's now your time. So if you have any questions for Alice, Timmy or Ringo, submit them through the Q&A feature to the right of your screen. I know they would love to hear from you and address any queries or information you're thinking at this time. So we do have a couple of questions that's popped through. Annabelle Mugford, Alice, could you please expand on the South Australia and Hong Kong virtual wine forum that you previously referred to?
And hi, Annabelle. It's good to connect here with you virtually as well. Yes, the forum is actually an initiative from our Department of Trade and Investment. We, as you know, Hong Kong is a very important market for South Australian wine industry. We maintain the top value market in terms of serving premium wines here. So in this climate, we are trying to engage both South Australia and Hong Kong wine experts as much as we can to provide insights to the local wine merchants in Hong Kong and the wine media in Hong Kong, and also to provide updates also back to the South Australian wine industry. So we are exploring instead of like one way or two ways presentations like we have done today, which is great. We're exploring like a wine forum, you know, inviting experts from the wine industry, from South Australia and from Hong Kong, to share with each other what the insights, you know, on the wine industry in both markets, and what can be done to increase South Australian wine exports to Hong Kong. We are still exploring the campaign, and we will disclose more information in due course. Thanks, Annabelle.
Thanks, Alice. So Annabelle, if you do want some more information on that, happy to share that as that event progresses. Annabelle actually sent through a follow-up question as well. Does Hong Kong have an integrated e-commerce live streaming platform similar to Tmall Live and Taobao Live? Timmy or Alice, who's best to address this?
I think this question, three of us can answer a bit of it. So in short, I don't think we have anything that we can compare with Tmall Live and Taobao Live. To begin with, the Hong Kong market is so much smaller than China, and also another factor is because Hong Kong is a small place, everything is so convenient. So in the slightly older time, like a few months ago, everyone is still quite want to shop everything in supermarkets nearby, wet market nearby. So on the development on this side, we are not as like forward as those in China. But in Hong Kong, we have a number of very well established online stores like HKTV malls. Also, the main supermarket chain in Hong Kong, they have their own online store as well. Some of the importers like Ringo's and other importers, we can see a lot of them are setting up their own online store, supplying like ambient food, live and fresh seafood or meat as well. So, and they are also very active on promotion, even though they don't have their own live stream platform to do like promotion. A lot of them are working with, for example, some of the KOL chef or YouTuber or some of the actors or actresses in Hong Kong to draw attention to promote their products. So I think the Hong Kong market and China market are using slightly different way to do their business.
Maybe I'll also invite Ringo to share with us your comments, because you have presence or distributions across China and Hong Kong as well. Thanks, Ringo.
Yes, in fact, we do not have an integrated live stream platform. However, as Timmy said earlier, there are lots of social influencers also in the Hong Kong market where they act as a KOL and they promote various products for companies. But in May, our main television channel, TVB, they will be launching a live shopping platform and program where they will use a lot of the artists and celebrities to start promoting products and driving the trend of various products. Yep.
Thank you. Thanks, Ringo.
Thank you. Moving to the health and medical sector, Alice, what's happening in the vaccine development in Hong Kong?
Thank you, Ashley, for the questions. As you all know, Hong Kong and China, we have survived from SARS back in 2003. So we have accumulated a lot of data and researches from there. I'd just like to highlight two universities. The Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, they have identified a set of epitopes that was derived from SARS in 2003 that can actually trigger the immune response against SARS, and also similarly induce the response against the COVID-19 now. And the University of Hong Kong they have announced to begin the COVID-19 vaccine in human trials by July this year. So they are now in the preclinical research stage, which is underway. However, the challenges is because of the border control with the mainland, makes it very difficult for them to collaborate with the vaccines manufacturers in China. Thank you.
Thank you. We've got one last question. So please, last opportunity to submit questions, otherwise we'll finish up the session. So Hong Kong appears to be a very competitive market. Is there still space for new South Australian or Australian products? So I think this is a question that can be addressed by all of you. Lucky last question.
Okay, so I may invite Ringo to give us some comments, and then Alice and I will follow up.
Yes, there are always opportunity. It's really a matter of marketing from my perspective. Every product exists for a reason, and especially for fresh produce from South Australia, where quality is at the very top. But it is important for customers and home consumers to understand the value of your products. This can be achieved by telling stories, explaining the background, and showing people how you produce. And like our company, we always work closely with the television channel, where we invite artists and the TV producer to go over, say, to South Australia, and we can do a program based on all the produce and explain the background from A to Z. And then when we bring everything back, import the product into the market, then we can work together with the program to push the products. And that way, even though the home consumer cannot be at your factory or at the place by themselves, but at least they can see and they can feel for themselves how good the quality is, and they will give it a try. And I'm sure once they have tried, they like the quality, they will repeat purchase. Thank you.
Thank you, Ringo. We might, I'm really conscious of time. So you talk about quality products. South Australia has the best quality products. We're clean, green, and yeah, we'd love to sort of work together with you. So any companies out there listening, touch base with Alice or myself, and you know, we can work together in connecting you with Ringo. So thanks everyone for joining. That comes to the end of our webinar. Thanks Alice, Timmy, Ringo. It's been wonderful to have you join us this morning. Please do take the time to complete the short poll that's now on screen. This helps us tremendously. There's also a field for comments. If you'd like to offer a suggestion for a sector-specific presentation or a particular theme that you're interested in, let us know and we'll try and incorporate that into future webinars. Lastly, hope you can join us tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock for our very first update on India. Should be a fantastic session with presentations from Amazon India's International Sourcing Manager, Sidram Kudaki, as well as Austrade's Trade Commissioner, Dr. Mark Morley. Should be fantastic, so please tune in. Thanks everyone, and continue to keep safe and well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.